Our wedding, the morning, arrived quieter than I expected it to. I thought I'd wake up nervous. Instead, I woke up calm, completely certain, like my whole body already knew this was simply right. Nothing to fear, just something to finally receive properly. My mother helped me get ready, hands slightly shaking more than mine were. She kept saying, "I can't believe this day finally came." I kept thinking about every uncertain letter, every waiting month, every doubt that led exactly here to this specific morning, this specific certainty replacing years of wondering where you were, replacing months of distance, replacing everything difficult that made this moment feel earned instead of simply given. I got dressed, slowly savoring every small ritual, knowing I'd want to remember all of it clearly. Later, my hands trembled, slightly tying something small, final detail. Before walking out the door, my family surrounded me the whole morning. Loud, warm, familiar chaos. Exactly how weddings in my family always sound: overlapping voices, excited laughter, someone crying, happy tears, already before anything official even started. I thought about you, getting ready somewhere else, probably equally nervous, equally excited, both of us separately preparing for the same exact moment, neither of us quite believing it finally arrived. We drove to the venue, windows down, warm air, familiar songs playing quietly. Everyone in the car uncharacteristically quiet, processing the weight of what was about to happen. I arrived first, stood somewhere, waiting, watching guests slowly filling seats, familiar faces, unfamiliar faces, all gathered for this one specific reason, witnessing something we'd built patiently together. Then the music shifted, everyone stood, and I saw you finally at the entrance, and everything else in that entire room disappeared completely. You looked exactly like every imagined version I'd pictured, except better, except real, except actually walking toward me instead of existing only in hopeful imagination. I don't remember breathing properly during those slow steps you took toward me. Just remember my heart pounding, remember tears already forming before you even reached me completely. You smiled, that same smile that first drew me in. That night we met, completely unaware how significant meeting would become. You reached me finally, took my hands finally, present finally, certain finally, exactly where years of waiting had been, quietly leading us both toward this precise, unforgettable beginning, together properly, completely, finally, officially becoming family. The reception hall glowed warm. Gold lanterns strung everywhere. Music finally allowed to get louder, more joyful, more unrestrained than the ceremony's careful, quiet, solemn moments. Everyone moved toward, food toward, laughter toward, finally relaxing. After weeks of planning, stress finally dissolving into pure celebration. My father gave a toast voice, breaking halfway through proud words about watching me grow into someone capable of this kind of commitment. Your mother spoke two warm, generous words about gaining a son, not losing a daughter. Both families already blending, easily already, feeling like one instead of two separate worlds, meeting nervously. We danced our first dance clumsily. Honestly, neither of us particularly skilled, just holding each other, swaying slowly, while everyone watched smiling, recording moments. We'd treasure forever. Your hand rested against my chest. I felt your heartbeat steady against mine, finally synchronized, finally certain. Instead of searching, my cousins pulled us into ridiculous group dances later, everyone laughing at uncoordinated, enthusiastic movement, completely unbothered by looking foolish, just genuinely happy, genuinely celebrating something real. Together, food kept arriving, dishes from both our families blended onto one table, symbolizing something neither of us needed to say aloud. Two histories, two cultures, finally sharing space completely, naturally, completely, beautifully. My grandmother found us mid celebration, held both our faces, said something quiet, just for us alone, about legacy, about continuing something bigger than just us two. We cut cake together, laughing messier than planned, feeding each other clumsily, completely happy, completely unconcerned with perfection, just presence, just joy, just finally being exactly where years of uncertain waiting had led us, both late into the night. After most formal moments finished, we snuck away briefly, just us two standing outside, away from noise, away from crowds, just breathing together. Quietly, you looked at me, said, "Can you believe this actually happened?" I said, "I've been asking myself that question all day, still not quite believing something this good became permanently ours." We stood there a while longer, just existing in that specific quiet joy before returning to continue celebrating, surrounded by everyone who mattered most, everyone who'd watched patiently, supported quietly, hoped alongside us through every difficult, uncertain moment that led precisely to this unforgettable golden lantern lit celebration. Finally, the last guests finally left, slowly, reluctantly, still hugging everyone twice, saying goodbye multiple times, the way families do when something this significant finally concludes. The hall grow quiet, lantern still, glowing softer. Now without the crowd, just us, two finally, alone, surrounded by leftover flowers, half eaten cake, scattered chairs, still warm from laughter. I took off my shoes first. You laughed. Did the same. We walked slowly through the emptying venue, just taking in everything. One more time before leaving, you picked up a stray flower from a centerpiece, tucked it behind your ear, smiled, said, I want to remember tonight exactly like this, messy, imperfect, completely ours. I agreed completely. We sat down at an empty table, just the two of us, finally still, after a day of constant motion, constant emotion, constant celebration. You rested your head against my shoulder, quiet, contented, exhausted, happy exhaustion. I wrapped my arm around you. We just sat there, minutes passing, comfortably silent, occasionally laughing, remembering some specific moment from earlier, someone's ridiculous dance move, someone's emotional toast that made everyone cry. I looked down at our hands intertwined, rings finally, real finally, permanent instead of imagined, instead of promised someday, actually here, actually ours. You noticed me looking, smiled, asked, what are you thinking? I said, just that this is real, we're actually married. You laughed, softly said, I keep thinking that too, like I need constant reminding until it settles properly into feeling instead of still feeling like a beautiful dream. We eventually stood gathered, small things left behind, walked toward the car, hand in hand, exhaustion finally catching up completely with both of us. We drove home, mostly quiet, windows down slightly, night air cool against warm skin, still flushed from dancing, from crying, from joy. We reached home, walked inside together, properly as married people. For the first time, you paused at the doorway again, like our first day here, except different, except deeper, except permanent now. Not just moving in together, but building an entire life together officially, completely. We didn't do anything elaborate. That first married night just changed into comfortable clothes, sat together on the couch, reviewing photos already shared by friends, laughing tirelessly at candid, unposed moments, capturing genuine joy better than any professional photo. Could you fell asleep? First head on my lap, I stayed awake a while longer, just watching you rest completely, peaceful completely, home completely, mine now, officially completely, certain this exact moment, this exact person, this exact ending to an incredible beginning was worth every single day it took getting here. I woke up before you, did watched you sleeping peacefully, sunlight falling softly across your face through curtains we forgot to close completely. Last night I didn't move, didn't reach for my phone, just watched this ordinary miracle, someone choosing to share every future morning with me. Now officially, permanently, you stirred slowly, eyes fluttering open, found me already watching you, smiled sleepy and warm, said good morning husband. First time either of us had said that word aloud properly. It landed differently than expected, heavier somehow, more real. I said, good morning, wife, testing how it felt in my own mouth too. We both laughed quietly at how strange new titles felt, even though nothing about us actually changed overnight. Just everything became officially certain instead of hopefully building. We stayed in bed longer than necessary, neither of us rushing to start the day properly, just wanting a little longer in this specific quiet before responsibilities returned, before phones started buzzing with congratulations, before the whole world outside reminded us life continues even after significant days conclude. Eventually, you traced small circles against my arm quietly, said, I keep waiting to feel different somehow, but I just feel like myself, except happier, except more certain. I said, maybe that's exactly what marriage should feel like, not transformation, just confirmation of something already true. We eventually got up, made coffee together, still slightly giddy, still occasionally glancing at rings, still adjusting to new names, new titles, new shared everything. We sat at our small kitchen table, morning light warm around us, just existing together properly as whatever this new chapter would become. No rush, no urgency, just presence, just gratitude, just quiet joy at finally arriving somewhere worth every uncertain year that led precisely here. You reached for my